Hi guys, it's Sierra of Dear Sierra. So basically I was just like doing a lot of reflecting about like what I had posted on my channel. I just wanted to like get back to the basics and back to like what I made this channel for and like what content I wanted to share and what content I wasn't finding elsewhere and stuff like that. So today I'm just gonna be talking about my like post-grad experience as far as my first adult job after graduating college, which was completely not related to my degree at all, but we'll get into all the details of that. Oliver. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I got my undergraduate degree in psychology. I got a Bachelor of Arts in psychology. I graduated in 2017, May 2017. And I really didn't, I don't know, like I didn't understand, I don't, in theory I understood, but in real time I didn't really understand like the urgency at which I needed to like apply for jobs. So I didn't like apply to like, I didn't really have a direction, you know, like I didn't really know where to apply or what to apply for. I just kind of thought that it would just kind of like happen, and that's definitely not how it works. So anyone that is going to college or currently in college, it does not just like fall in your lap like that. You've got to do the footwork yourself. I had a part-time job at the time before I graduated college. I had worked in retail for a little while, and then I had transitioned over to working at a hair salon. Now I was a front desk receptionist at a hair salon, a pretty like high-end like non-black hair salon. So I was a receptionist there, and then like I was like okay with still working there after I graduated. Once I had solidified a place that I was gonna live after I graduated, because I lived on campus all 4 years of college. So once I had found an apartment that I was gonna live in with 2 roommates off campus, obviously after graduating I knew like I need a steady income. And my part-time job honestly would have covered it because we were splitting rent 3 ways, which is like doable. But I just knew I wanted something to like be like a little bit more secure, a little bit more like each paycheck is gonna be exactly the same, and something where I could potentially move up to full-time hours. Because at that point, after graduating, I did not commit to graduate school. I knew I would need to go to graduate school, but I just could not apply to graduate school. I just, there was so much going on. And honestly, no one knows this. No one knows this, but I actually had to take summer classes after. There was like, was it 1 class or 2 classes? I think it was 1 class. I took summer classes after I graduated online because like there was like something that I missed on my transcript or something. But like I was too embarrassed to tell anyone. So like, as far as everyone knew, which I did graduate. Like I got my degree and my diploma and everything and like whatever, but like they were like, you have to take these 2 classes online. So I actually took summer classes after I graduated. Anyway, that all being said, I did not have plans to go to grad school right after college. I knew I wanted to take at least a gap year. And then I just knew I needed a job that was gonna be more like big boy pay, not like whatever I was making at the salon, I don't remember. So I had applied to a few places, and then I began to kind of like get desperate, one so for timing purposes and also for pay purposes. So I definitely could have applied other places and probably gotten a job, but the pay would not have been what I would have liked it to be. So instead I applied to a bank teller position, which like I was very terrified about, because I was like, even though I had done customer service, I had done reception, so I was used to like face-to-face contact with people and patrons and things like that. I just did not want to be in like such a frontline position where I like my whole entire job was talking to people and whatever. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But I applied for this bank teller position. It was part-time, but the pay was really good. I think it was like, it was good for the time. It was good for 2017, which I think it was $16 an hour, but it was part-time. And again, I was splitting my rent 3 ways, so it wasn't like a huge deal. It wasn't super expensive for me, whatever. So I applied for that job, went in for the interview. I wore this like, I remember what I wore. I wore these like high heels. I should not have been, they weren't like clubbing heels, but like, they were just like too high. I was obviously like not like physically comfortable because I had just like overdressed, I guess, for the position. So I go into this bank and I have the interview and everything's like whatever. And they're asking me like, oh, like Actually, it's only one person. I'm only interviewing with one person. But she asks me like, oh, like all your resume stuff is geared toward, not like resume, but like academic stuff is geared towards psychology. Like, how are you, like, what are you doing in a banking field? And I kind of like spun it. I said like whatever would dazzle her or whatever. Like, oh, like, you know, like everything, like the people interaction and like understanding, I don't know what I said, but I said something. Kind of like reassure her that like, no, like I'm in it to win it kind of thing. And so I ended up getting hired. I think I started like right after I moved into my apartment, like very quickly after graduation, moving into my apartment, all that stuff. I started there, and it was really cool the first like 2 weeks or so, because the first 2 weeks, all I had to do was go into this little like secluded room. It was like just like a room like as big as a freaking closet or something. Go in there on this computer, sit on the computer for I think like 4 or 6 hours a day. And that ended, and I went on the floor. I went into the room. I can give a whole other video about like my experience working at Big, as far as like things I learned and terminology and tips and stuff like that. That could be a different video. And there's also another video I want to make that's kind of like a story time-ish video. In the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, like I need to make money. I have to be here. I was the youngest person there. I was the only Black person there, which like wasn't really shocking to me. I was the youngest person there though, by for sure. Like everyone was like in their 30s or older. There were altogether there were like 6 bank tellers, I think, but 4 out of us 6 were all like Hispanic or Spanish speaking cultures. There was one girl that was from Portugal, one girl that was from Colombia, one girl that was from Peru, and I forget what the last one was. They were all from different places, but they all spoke Spanish. And the city that we had the bank in was a very like Spanish speaking area, so it was like perfect. And I took Spanish in high school and college and in middle school, so I was like, oh cool, like I can like touch on my Spanish, like while I'm working with them, like I can listen to their conversations, stuff like that, whatever. So once I get on the floor, so there's like 4 teller stations facing the lobby where people come to the actual bank and walk up and talk to you, and there's 2 teller stations facing the drive-through. I think during my like training, I was with this one girl in particular, and we were in the lobby facing side. And a lot of these people, you would see them every single week or every month or whatever. So eventually I moved over to the side on the drive-through side, and that was when I had a little more independence after I wasn't like right up under someone anymore. So the experience overall was like, honestly, I learned a lot. Honestly, I've already forgotten so much that I learned there because I'm not actively doing all the time anymore. The company itself, I was not a member of their bank. I think there was some kind of perk or pro to like me. If I were to open an account there, then I would get X, Y, and Z because I was an employee, but I had no desire because I didn't really like how they did things on the back end for their people that had accounts there. They were just like very outdated in their policies and things like that. They were very outdated like with technology in general. But then as time went on, I was okay, like I'm the youngest person here. There were a few girls that like they made it as fun as they could, and then there was others that were like very just like, oh, another day in hell kind of thing. And that kind of like I peeped that very quickly. People that weren't even bank tellers. There were people on the like the loan side that had like their own desk in the office that like met people about loans and opening accounts and stuff like that. Those people also were kind of just like pretty jaded to the whole industry overall. And I was like, well, you guys don't have to stay. In my mind, I'm thinking, you guys don't have to stay in this position. I began to be very depressed working there. Like very much like I am so unmotivated and I'm going here. There's people that are older than me and supposedly wiser than me and are making more money than me and have other like responsibilities than me. And if they're hitting it, then why am I here? You know, like I don't want to look back 10 years from now and be still working at this bank and feeling the way that they're feeling. So that was not lost on me. Like I definitely peeped that early, and it was just like an overarching cloud. And there were so many other things, you know, like you need to open this many accounts or this many credit cards, and like there was like a competition between this branch versus this branch. What was our ranking? Blah blah blah. I can get into that in another video if you guys want me to. But I just remember being like, even if I don't have another job lined up, like I want to quit. I was so miserable there. Like I was like, even if I don't even know where my next paycheck is coming from, I need to quit. I didn't do that, thank God, even though I considered it. But there were times where I would just like literally like the thought of going to work like made me want to cry. It's a very social job. So even if like you hate your job, it's like if you can go into your office and close your door and sit and do your work and hate your job, that's one thing, because it's like, okay, at least you're not being like on the spot 24/7. But it's like, imagine going to a job that you already hate, you're miserable, you're battling internally, mentally with stuff, and then you also have to be on your game in people's face 24/7. People constantly coming up to you, asking you questions, people constantly catching attitude with you about their bank account. So that weighed on me a lot. And then also just being like, dude, like, this is not end goal for me. I have a college degree. And not saying that like, oh, these people don't have college degrees, but it's like, I got that degree for a reason. I was working towards something, even though I was very burnt out from school and I wasn't motivated to complete work at that time. I was like, I can't stay here. So I started applying to like willy-nilly places, anything that even like remotely resembled mental health or psychology related stuff I was applying for. I remember also that like I was part-time, so like I would work anywhere between like 20 and 30 hours a week. Like as long as I was working no more than like 32 hours a week, they could technically still call me part-time. So I would get, sometimes I would like work more hours per week and I was like, this money is good, like it's kind of making up for it, like whatever. But I was just like, no, like I can't. That's how they get you trapped, is like you get the consistency of the money rolling in and you forget that you hate it the whole time you're there. And I was like, I can't do this. I just can't. I said that to say that at one point when I was getting close to getting ready to quit, they'd actually asked me, hey, like, are you interested in going full time? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, if I agree to going full time, there's no going back. And that means that I'm giving up on myself and all the other possibilities in the world, and I'm committing. Like, of course I could have said yes and gone full time and still quit. I could have said yes and went full time for 1 week and then quit if I wanted to. Like, who's gonna stop me? It's not illegal to do that. But I was like, I'm not gonna commit to being full time and like basically settle in life and then be stuck here for another 5 years or something like that. I was like, I can't do that. So I declined going full time and I agreed to keep still working there, and I was still like applying to places. I told them, I think I gave them like a standard 2 weeks notice, which that was my first time like actually like, no, that was my second time. No, that was my third time. Yeah. That was my third time leaving somewhere. I left my retail job, obviously. I left my hair salon receptionist job, which by the way, when I was first, throughout almost the entire time that I was working at the bank, I also kept my hair salon receptionist job. So the bank, I worked just random days throughout the week. Again, it was like 20 to 30 hours. So like it was never Monday through Friday. It was like maybe a Monday and a Tuesday and a Thursday or something like that. And then like on Fridays, we closed like an hour early. So I think we were always open until 6 p.m. On Fridays, we closed at 5 p.m. And then on Saturdays, we were only open from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. So that was a super short shift, which I loved working Saturdays because it was so short. And then whatever days that I was not working at the bank, I would work at the hair salon. I think I told the bank that like I could not work on Wednesdays, period, because that's the one day that the hair salon absolutely needed coverage. So I was still getting like some chump change from the hair salon as well the whole time I was working at the bank, which was smart of me, which I wish I could see that money now in my savings account. But so when I finally left the bank, I went to my new job, which was mental health related. It was the receptionist position at the mental health office. And that job, they were not even advertising that they were hiring. I just came, I don't even know how I came across their company or whatever. I think I just like Googled mental health office and Googled like my location or something. And then I was like, checked out their website. I was like, they look like they're pretty legit. And I just emailed them on their like contact us page. I emailed them out of the blue and was like, hey, I'm pursuing a mental health career. Are you guys hiring for any positions? And they got back to me and they're like, come in. And that's a whole other story. But learn from that as well, because you don't have to always look for someone that is advertising that they're hiring. In my case, they had some internal stuff going on. They were like kind of in the process of not really sure if they were going to be hiring someone or not, or if someone was going to need to be replaced or not. And then they're like, oh, this is the sign, maybe we should hire this girl and make it an easy transition for so-and-so. So you can, or maybe someone just like doesn't know that they need the help, but if reach out and say like, hey, I'm willing to help and create a position, if you have one available, then they'll give you a position. So if you are post-grad and you're looking for a position and you don't see one advertised, if you find a company that you love or find a company that piques your interest, always just contact them and say like, hey, just in case you are in need, then I'm available, kind of thing. Because that goes really, really far, and it worked for me. And I'm still at the company, which is another story. I'm now the office manager, which is another story. But overall, that was like my free ticket out. Unhappiness and the like no motivation and the depression was not only just because I was in a crappy work environment. It was just like like, it was almost like I could see gray. Like, you know those movies where they like do like flashbacks and the screen is like really gray, no saturation, no nothing. I literally felt like I was going through my life with like gray lenses on. When I would go to work, everything was gray to me. Like, it was just like so depressing, so monotone, so like no light at the end of the tunnel. And then compile that onto me being in a field that had nothing to do with what I went to school for, and just knowing like, where is this really gonna get me? And I don't regret working there because it paid my bills and it built character or whatever. And I made good money there. So I don't regret that, but like looking back and being like, man, that was from June 2017 to December 2017. I didn't progress in my like academic or professional career. And also just feeling like, man, I'm already a step behind everyone else. You know, like I graduated high school when I was 17 instead of 18. I graduated college when I was 21 instead of 22, like most people are, whatever. So I really felt like I got this free head start above my peers, and then I kind of like slowly leveled myself back down to where I didn't have a head start anymore because I backtracked in my career progression, and I took a year off from school. And then even when I was in grad school, I think I took 3 breaks. So I waited a year to start grad school, so I was already a year behind everyone that graduated with me in college. And then I also like took 2 separate 3-month breaks throughout the span that I've been in grad school. So I was like, dang, like I got this free head start and now I'm behind. And that was frustrating to me. It was frustrating and it was disappointing. I kind of just felt like, where do I go from here? But I say a lot to say that you don't have to always, I mean, honestly, if you need to pay your bills, pay your bills. If a job presents itself to you and it's gonna pay your bills, it's gonna help you survive, it's gonna fill that gap between the next position or the next opportunity, then take it. But don't be so hard on yourself in the process. I mean, I know that's very hypocritical of me because it was hard not to be, but I think it showed me what I don't want to do. It showed me like, okay, like this work might be a little bit harder, this might require more of my time, this might require more education or whatever, but the alternative is blank. And now I know where I don't want to go back to. And when I start seeing similar red flags and similar patterns in other work environments, I know that's nothing to mess around with. It's nothing to wait around for. I'm not going to wait around for it to get worse or the whole place to blow up. I'm going to get out when I can, which is a valuable lesson to learn. And I'm glad that I learned it sooner rather than later. And that's something that I'll always carry with me. So that was my cautionary tale, I guess. I hope you guys found it insightful or helpful in some way. And I will probably make another video talking more about the actual banking environment itself. And then also I will create a story time eventually about what happened in particular at the job I was working there. That I think will be a pretty fairly entertaining story for you guys. So stay tuned for both of those videos and some other videos I have planned coming up this month for sure.